necessarily just about technology, it's also about the teams and the people that make up the technology.
Something so different. Something so different.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay, so Muya is my GitHub profile, Twitter, Fred Muya. So, DevOps. I think anybody who's in infrastructure or operation, you've had this scenario. It's Friday, 5 p.m. You're just about to leave to go home, and then somebody calls you like, "Hey man, are you sure your services are up?" That time it's 5 p.m. You're almost hitting shutdown on your machine. I'm sure everybody has gone through such a situation. What usually happens is, in the end, when you started checking out what the problem is, you find it's something you could have avoided if you had known before. So maybe an issue started at maybe around 3 p.m. Nobody knew about it, yet it's been impacting your services and all that stuff. Okay, so what do we do at Cellulant? Cellulant basically is a mobile commerce company. Provide mobile banking services, music distribution, bulk SMS. Here when you say mobile banking, we mean for your bank, when you want to access your menu, you dial up to show 722-488, whatever. Then you can access, you can check your balance, you can transfer cash to your M-Pesa, airtime, stuff like that. Just by the sound of that, that's like critical stuff. If somebody does an airtime transaction, you don't have to wait 5 minutes. You start calling, start raising hell. So in our situation, we can't afford any downtime on anything we do. So we need to monitor two things: that service health and service uptime. So service health in this case means that we need to the guys who are connected to us need to be able to hit us, need to be able to send requests to us immediately, and you need to respond in time. So that's all service health is about. That means if they're doing a transaction, you're not supposed to linger on your ESSD menu or anything like that. You send a request, you get an instant response. The other thing is service uptime. In this case, it's simply accessibility. I mean, if you're connected to a bunch of servers, if power in that data center goes out, I don't know. Yeah, it usually happens. That's for Kenya. I don't know what I guess. You need to know that your services are available. So at Cellulant, we've done this using two systems. One is Nagios. It's an old school monitoring system. Anybody heard of it? Yeah. I know it's a bit old school, but it works. So what Nagios does, it helps us to configure anything. You can check whether a port is accessible on a server. So it will run frequent pings on that server, try to telnet to that server, and then it will display on a chart whether the service is accessible or not, red or green. If you have applications, I don't know, some environments, applications, if they stop running, they stop logging, they stop writing to log files, you can use that to check if your applications on your servers are running. The second thing, which is a bit more interesting, is something we have we call DBQM. So that's short for database queue monitoring. In Cellulant, what this is basically. Okay, so DBQM, the way we implemented at Cellulant is we have a PHP cron job that runs every minute, running a bunch of queries. So it runs the queries against our database system. So we have a wealth of information. We have requests that are coming in, we have M-Pesa transactions, we have airtime transactions in our database. So what we did, we designed a simple system that has a bunch of queries, and each time this cron job runs, it runs the query against the database, depending on the results it gets. So let's use a real world example. How can we know we are not getting any USSD requests? So how do we know when guys dial that the requests are not reaching to us? Since our infrastructure the way it works, once you dial a request, it comes stored into a database. The queries that we've configured on DBQM will run against the database that has the USSD requests, and then do a count. So it will do select how many transactions you've had in the last 2 minutes. We have a certain threshold. We expect 100 requests every 2 minutes, if that's what we expect. So if that query runs and we get less than that, then we know there's a problem. In this case, we send out SMS alerts to the relevant people. So immediately you get an SMS alert, and in that case you can't afford to ignore SMS alerts, because I mean it's an SMS. You need to act immediately. This is more efficient than email in cases whereby you don't have access to your email. Maybe it's in the evening, you're on your way home, or if it's a weekend, you're not near a computer. So the SMS alerts usually help us do that. The other way we've implemented the same is through chats. So we just have a simple interface whereby we're showing queues of a specified period of time. Yeah, it's basically a count. So how many transactions have we been having in the last hour, the last 2 hours, and it basically enables the customer service representatives to know what's happening with our systems. In essence, this prevents those calls from the customer asking you, hey guys, why is your service down? But then I don't think anybody wants that. Being called by your client asking you whether your services are up, I think is the worst experience ever. And the monitoring helps us take care of that and avoid it. So having all these monitors everywhere, it has its side effects. I mean, we're monitoring 200 things. We're monitoring whether you have enough requests. Eventually, it will lead to noise or false alarms. Yeah. Something that's been configured wrongly to run every minute, you'll get 10 SMSs per minute. That becomes useless to you. So this is one of the issues we faced at Cellulant. I'm not really proud of it. We are working to fix it. So this okay, yeah, don't have them in the first place. You don't have to fix it, so don't have them in the first place. So it led to a smaller process that is called DevOps. What happens? We do an analysis of each of these probes that had a lot of problems. So maybe for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, we just check. Yesterday, this alert went out too many times. So we then check if it's a problem. So if we find it was misconfigured, we fix it. If we find it's an actual error or a bug, we actually take it back to the dev and the error is fixed. So, well, this Adam had told me to prepare, a small session for stuff we've done. So I was talking about the DevOps. What happened? We need to analyze those probes, and we had to run queries. Okay, we had to run reports so that you can find out the most troublesome probes. And I think this was a good implementation of DevOps. What I did, I used PHP scripts and Google Docs to automate the generation of these reports. So what I created was just a simple script that ran checking the most troublesome probes. It would send this to my email, and then I would use Google App Scripts to fetch the attachment from my email and generate a spreadsheet with all this data. So once you automate this server side using a cron job, Google Docs using their cron job, you have a spreadsheet every morning. You don't have to do any work. Your work is only to go and check all that stuff. It's all on my blog. You can just check it out. It was a small project.
Oops,
Okay, that's it. That's it for me. I don't have anything else. I came here, when I saw the DevOps thing, I was so excited. I just asked, what are you guys doing? I'd never heard of DevOps in Kenya before. I thought it was only our CTO who was crazy about it, so I was wondering what he was saying. But knowing that there's actually a community that actually believes in this culture is a pretty cool thing. And I'm excited to meet you guys. So, I don't know, I was here more to learn than to give a presentation, but yeah, at least I can share what you're doing at Cellulant. Yeah. Any questions?
Does your CTO have them to be at them?
No.
No. No.
Did he leave?
Yeah. But,
Or is the CTO?
he's not here.
Okay.
No. Okay, cool. Thanks.